Hey, welcome to another episode of the Dental Assistant Nerds podcast. I'm your co-host, John.
Hi, everyone. Amanda, how are you? Welcome.
All right, welcome. We have some very special guests today. We have Tanya and Ella from Converge Dental, and they're going to be talking to us about some very exciting stuff, in particular, how you can help your team achieve the vision of the doctor and the practice. So, ladies, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much. It's our pleasure to be here and super excited for the listeners to hear about this information and get inspired.
Yeah, we're all
Absolutely.
about
No,
all
we're
about that
excited.
inspiration. All right.
So, Convert, can you give us a little bit of overview of what we're talking about here about the restorative dental partner, and the restorative dental partner being part of the team as the assistant, your hygienist, your front desk, and can you just elaborate of how you're bringing all of these important roles of the dental practice together?
Sure. I'll take the lead on this one if that's okay. So think of it as a customer experience, right? From the initial interaction to retaining lifelong customers. That's a result of a team effort. Team that understands the practice vision, mission, and the core values will promote dentistry or opportunities based on patient needs, wants, or desires without any hesitation. So when the team that emphasizes on creating that trust-based relationship with patients acts as patient advocates and promotes dentistry, that's what we call restorative dental partners. And that's where assistants, you have an amazing opportunity to be that restorative dental partner for the dentist because you spend so much time with the patient. You have so much opportunity to create that trust-based relationship with patients because there's opportunities where when the doctor suggests or recommends the next stage of treatment, they leave the room and the patient turns to you and says, would you do that?
Or what did he or she
What did he just
try to
say?
say?
That's right.
What are those letters and what does that description mean?
Exactly. So that's what we consider. That's what we mean when we talk about restorative dental partnership with the dentist. We always inspire the dental team, assistants and hygienists in particular, to understand that the doctor is your peer. You're there to guide the doctor, work together with the doctor, not under the doctor's supervision, but work together in conjunction with the doctor to achieve the practice vision together. So your leadership is very important to make sure that that vision comes to fruition and the practice thrives with you being in it.
I love that term leadership, but there has to be a leader. There has to be someone in charge that shows that starts with that initial vision of that core value or that mission statement, such as we have at Cornerstone as well. There's a business behind it, of course, but there's this vision of what the outward goal is when it comes to bringing patients in and retaining those patients for long-term treatment care as a long-term client of the dental practice. And I think a lot of maybe kind of quote unquote issues that happen within the dental practice is maybe where this comes into play, to where maybe there's not a definitive leadership, there's not a definitive goal. What do you girls think?
That's 100% right. We always teach our dentists that we work with and the teams that we work with, in particular dentists, that it's important to be a leader. You cannot just expect others to just know what to do because you have a philosophy of treatment and you have the core values that should be defining for the team to understand how do we treat patients? What are the core values of the practice that we share with our patients? So and we also teach dentists to inspire the team members to be leaders within their own area of expertise. So if you are a dental assistant, if you are a hygienist, taking the lead within your own department is very crucial for your own fulfillment, number one, but also for the practice growth. And then you're able to bring value for yourself, for the patients, and for the practice.
Yeah, because we don't want to be, when it comes to a dental assistant standpoint, or sometimes we see if well, I want to become a dental assistant, but I just don't want to suction for the day. There's so much more to our career field when it comes to our knowledge as a dental assistant, that bringing back in that focus and that leadership. And of course, there's a period of this that becomes with not with trusting, maybe with your doctor trusting you that you're going to give the correct information. Do you girls feel that's the same as well? And comfortability when it comes to being a newer dental assistant, that, oh my gosh, they asked me a question, I don't know what the answer is, or I don't want to answer wrong, and it's intimidating. But if your doctor is there as that leader and is helping you with that verbiage, part of that is, even if you don't know the verbiage, that, I'm sorry, Mr. Smith, maybe of an explanation that I'm a newer dental assistant, I'm still learning the answer to your question, but please give me a moment and I'd love to, I'll bring the doctor back in the room or get someone that can help me. So I think that it's just being open, and like you said, being that partnership as a side by side, not this the doctor, owner, office manager, not this tiered type system of someone being, in the sense, in charge aggressively. Correct? Do you think as well?
That is very true. May I add to your point, because that is a very important point, especially for new grads that are going out there and practicing with dentists. You have to understand that, number one, doctors know that you're new, you're newly educated. It's okay, number one, to be vulnerable, to say to yourself, it is okay that I am learning. And if I make a mistake, that's okay too, because a mistake in our eyes is an opportunity to learn. It's not a mistake that you're going to be fired for, because the dentist that hired you understands that you still have a learning curve. You have to learn his or her treatment philosophy, his or her preferences on things. So you take your time to learn the practice. You take your time and be open to making mistakes. And like you said, be open to the patient saying, I don't know this, but I will find out the answer for you. There's a difference with that versus staying aside. So like, I'm not sure. The dentist is also looking for a leader or a partner. So if you take charge and say, I don't know, but I'll find out for you, that's a better approach to learning for yourself and providing the best experience for the patient. The patient will accept you and will trust you more if you are being honest with them to say, yes, let me find out for you because I don't know the answer, versus they can see that you're trying to kind of wiggle your way out of it and trying to answer some way. They can see, so don't pretend.
No, don't pretend. Don't pretend. And education enhances understanding. It's a great quote. We're famous for putting quotes in our weekly PowerPoints to our students of inspiration and how we can help. That we all have to start somewhere. We all have to learn. And no matter if you're an experienced dental assistant going into a new practice, or if you're just a new dental assistant or hygienist that's going into just your first practice in general. But the leadership is key in morale in your office, and bringing those leaders or bringing those employees together and creating that. Some people don't like the term family, or creating that morale to each other is important. And whether it's an event in-house, John and I love potlucks and celebrating someone's birthday, or just the small things that really can bring your office staff together and make a true difference. And just in that conversation of understanding what we're all, in a sense, going through.
That's right. That's positive team culture. That's what we teach as well.
Yes.
And
create that culture.
And to your point as well, is when you do have a dental assistant who doesn't know, or like you said, experienced or not, it's okay to ask the dentist, what is your philosophy, or how would you like me to do things? But at the same time, have an open communication to also bring in your ideas and share your input.
Yeah, because your dental practice, we all can, in every profession, in a sense, to a certain, it's going to feel a little stagnant of how can we bring new things to the picture? How can we bring, just because, Sarah, Sally, and Karen have worked at the practice for 25, 30 years and it's been their way, and now someone's retiring and someone else is coming in, it doesn't mean the new ideas are bad ideas. That we have to adapt and we have to change. And I think patients like those changes as well, and whether it's painting the waiting room, or, oh, there's a new face, on staff, that we have to create that morale. And bringing that value, I think Ella said, to our own personal, you have to feel like you made a difference, that, that you want to be really a part of the genuine team that can help the growth and be a part of the business and be a part of, in a sense, those maybe not in the decision making when it comes to the business tactics, but at least that your maybe opinion or your outside perspective was at least heard and valued, not belittled, as unfortunately can come across sometimes.
Exactly.
So there is a way that we teach our teams in particular of how do you bring this value and measurable value, right? Sometimes you come into the practice, you bring in some changes, and there's a feeling like, wow, this is great, but there's no measurement or data to analyze and figure out, okay, yeah, did that truly make a difference? It just feels different, right? So
Yes.
we teach our teams, so how do you measure your data by using data? How do you make a difference? So once you implement certain things, observe it, measure it, make sure you have the data to back up why you are valuable, what value you brought to the practice. And that's a thing, that's something we would like to discuss here as well, so your listeners can take it home and say, maybe starting Monday, this is what I'm going to do to make sure that I am able to show my dentist or my team that here's the value that I bring into the team, here's the changes that we made, and here's how it affected the practice or the patient care or things like that.
Yeah, because this comes into, the value of individual, the value of the practice, and the longevity of the practice as well, and how successful that practice is going to be is all part of the team. And if someone's always making the upper hand of decision where your opinion doesn't matter, then it really wears on you as a person as well. Then we all have this emotional side, as just, we're all humans. We all just need, not in the sense that, that the star chart in your office or anything, but we want to be valued. And this also, I think, spins into play of course, another podcast in the sense idea is, if we want to bring value, if we want to ask for a raise, in a sense, is where I was thinking of that. If we want, if we get to the point in our career, in our office, that we're getting to that point where, wow, I'm doing this and now I'm doing this and I'm taking on this responsibility and I've made this small change and it's made this positive of an difference. That's the difference I feel that doctors are going to look at as well, on who in a sense is financially going to get that increase. You have to show your office manager, your doctor, your leaders, that you want to be part of the leadership and you want to be part of the difference of the team, not someone that's maybe sitting in the background.
That's very true. It's very important to make sure to kind of add to what you said. It's important for yourself as an assistant to take the time to evaluate, okay, I have reached my growth potential right now. I have done what I can do best. What is my next level? Take charge. If the dentist does CEREC dentistry, try to make sure you understand how to scan, how to create the crown on the screen. Maybe you become the lead assistant to do CEREC dentistry. Or if ortho is big part of the practice, maybe you take the lead and be the lead assistant for ortho. Always looking for opportunities to grow. Take the opportunities for yourself, and you can always present it to the doctor, say, hey, I would like to learn this more. I am sure doctors are happy to invest in their team members, especially nowadays. Yeah. Especially today, doctors are more mindful, more open to invest back in their teams to make sure that the team is growing and they're not losing team members, right? It's much more expensive to onboard somebody than to invest in someone that's present and willing to learn and take on new responsibilities.
So, what do you think that would be something that maybe you would say, maybe you would have a more experience of working hand in hand with maybe dentists? Is, unfortunately, I also been in the situation of to where an office is not encouraging that growth. The office is fairly stagnant. There's nothing of change and you want it, but you don't feel that maybe your doctor is encouraging that. So any recommendations of how in the sense of how we can change the mindset of the dentist as well, that your staff needs to be encouraged to take those steps in learning new things. And, you know, if someone, you know, kind of taking things off the plate of the doctor as well, like you said, with that CRAC training, and creating the crown from a dental assistant standpoint, that it is something that, you know, yet again, of judging that trust, and that, you know, doesn't mean that you're making that final decision as a dental assistant, but, you know, you have, yet again, you're working together as that team member, that, hey, this is my CRAC I've created, you know, is this acceptable for your, you know, what you want for your patient? And, you know, those doctors sort of, in the sense, encouraging to let go of their reins a little bit as well, and letting your staff do those things that can help you as a dentist as well. Do you think?
This is
Well,
where we
hey,
come into.
ladies, I think this is a great time. As we just keep this ball rolling, I think this is a great time for us to take a pause. Our sponsors would love to get a word in. So why don't we take a second, and you know, we'll catch everybody on the other side of the break. We'll be right back with Converge Dental. All right, and we are back on the other side of the commercial break with the Dental Assistant Nerds podcast. And of course, we have Ella and Tanya from Converge Dental. And just out of curiosity, ladies, if someone needed your services, how would we get in touch with you?
You can contact us at contact@Converge Dental, or you can go to our website, www.convergedental.com, or you can find us on all the social media platforms. It could be Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, you name it. We're there.
That's awesome. So you're out there. You're out there doing big things, and we love it.
Absolutely. So before the break, we were talking about the growth of a dental assistant in a dental practice. And if we want to grow, and we feel maybe what do we do when we're in that office situation with a dentist, maybe being the owner of your practice, you know, you're going to as the leadership, that you want to do something more challenging, you want to, you know, challenge yourself, you want to bring more to dental practice, and maybe that's not reciprocated as encouragement. How do we handle it? What do we do? Do we stay? Do we go? Do we do things on our own? What do you girls think?
So I'm going to give an example of, there are dental practices where the dentist constantly says, I just cannot find the right team member. Why can I find the right team member? That's a question we get a lot. And when we dive deeper into the practice, we truly realize that the doctor has a vision for the practice, but the foundation for the practice is not set. So we always encourage the doctor not to wait for the right team member to come, but work on the foundation of the practice first, and then the right team member will kind of flow into the practice at the right time, and the foundation will be set, and the doctor and that new team member will just flow and work well together, because that team member that the doctor is looking for is actually up to the standards and even higher. That's the team member that has taken the time to invest in themselves. If you have the desire and the inspiration to do more in the practice, to be more valuable and bring more value, don't stop because the dentist is not letting you grow. Take the time, take the investment. Think of it as not just money that you're spending, but it's an investment within yourself. Take that time and initiate that opportunity of growth for yourself. And then make sure that on the journey of your growth, you actually constantly letting the doctor know opportunities for better growth in the practice, opportunities for better customer experience, whatever it might be, and record that for yourself so you know what changes you've brought up. You know what investments you've done for yourself. And if the doctor at the end is like, no, still not wanting, because there are some stubborn doctors out there, they just don't want to change, and that's okay. But you took the time and opportunity to invest in yourself and your growth. And when the time is right, you would know that it's time to find a different place. You will be ready to step into the practice that has the opportunities for you to implement all of your value and more over time. So don't wait until you find a different place to see if that works for you. Invest now and then that will flourish for you later.
And also decide what type of practice do you want to be in. You know, what does your practicing philosophy look like? Do you do better with a small office? Do you do better with the bigger office? Do you like when the doctor gives you a lot of autonomy, or are you the type of person that needs a lot of guidance? So those little things that you really have to hone in and decide for yourself first, and in addition to what Ella mentioned as well.
That's a great explanation, honestly, and exactly in the sense how we kind of bring all of that together is wonderful, in the sense of if the opportunity hasn't arose for us to move on, or we're not sure where we want to go, to work on ourselves while we're at the place where we are right now. John and I are always telling our his students, and we always encourage those of you that are listening, to all four of us, in the sense of we're your professional contacts if you need help, or just kind of like to vent or conversate, or what do I do from here, is that there's an experience that you're going to take no matter where you are right now, whether it's a great experience or whether it ended up not being the great experience that you were hoping for, from many different avenues. That sometimes it's just not your right fit of where you are, and the next person that would come in, it's the great fit for them. But where you are now and investing in yourself is so important for your stepping stone to where you're going to go to. And unfortunately, we even take those sort of negative experiences with us, not in a sense you're carrying negativity to that next practice, but you're thinking to yourself, oh, it's in a sense that red flag moment that this is not a repetitive, I don't want to repeat this, or I don't want to see this at the next practice that I'm at. But we're always want to say we're in Pennsylvania. Of course, you're located in Kansas, correct? I almost thought I had it wrong. So the CE courses, in the sense of what we all need across the country, are all different. But regardless, we always want to tell our students, don't even look at what is quote unquote needed. That just because you don't need the CE course for your license renewal, no matter who you are, in Pennsylvania as a CDA or as an expanded function dental assistant, and your licensure in Kansas, that take those education opportunities, take those education classes, whether it's online, if you like online. I personally like in person, and after COVID, it's been a while that these CE courses that are educational are starting finally, in a sense, to come back. John and I, who knows what will happen in the future of our professional contacts with each other. But if you're listening to this and you're able to create a CE, it would be really great to see CEs geared more towards dental assistants. That we have so much for doctors, we have so much for hygienists, that to create this camaraderie and this education standpoint for a dental assistant would be phenomenal, to see that kind of turn into that direction as well. But bringing value and that knowledge to you individually is just going to snowball into your dental practice as well.
I'm sure that when we have another episode recording with you guys, we'll go into more details of how you can as a dental assistant take the steps to create value for yourself, because there's simple steps that a lot of people just overlook that can be implemented on a daily basis to, again, grow yourself and show your value to the practice that you're in. And again, if the practice you're in is not valuing you and what you're bringing, you don't think of it as a negative, but think of it as an opportunity for you to create yourself to the point where your next opportunity is going to take you in and be so grateful that you are in a position where you are, that you have the education and the skill and the confidence to where you are, because you'll be able to help that practice grow to their next level of maturity. So take the opportunity, as I mentioned before, and go with it. Don't let anything stop you. You're the only person that can grow and make yourself valuable.
Yeah, investing in yourself is so important, and it's gonna, you could go into that next practice and they're like, oh my gosh, this is exactly what we've been needing. This is exactly the ideas that that's in someone's head, but they're not sure how to expedite it. And maybe you're the person that comes in, and now you're the person that has expedited, and you just become and you don't have to move up to an office manager position or a financial coordinator position, or a lead dental assistant position. You don't have to have that title to be a leader.
That's
You don't
right.
have to be you know, if you're the person that's in your practice, then someone in your practice is doing something that's wrong and you continue to do it right. Hopefully that trickle effect is like, oh, Amanda would do it this way, and I know this is the right way. So since she's always doing it this way, I guess finally I'll do it the right way. Don't get into the ultrasonic with no gloves on.
That's
Right?
right. Yes. I've actually learned that from my first day in a dental office, not as a dental hygienist, just as a receptionist. And I went in without any gloves in the water, and I was like, yeah, I should not have done that.
Yeah.
But you learn from experience.
You learn from experience, but it's definitely a big no-no. And I know
Yeah.
John and I are, of course, it's a pet peeve. Do not get into the ultrasonic with no gloves on. And if you see someone that keeps doing it, you just keep putting your gloves on and getting in there, and hopefully the correct repetition will repeat. So,
but these experiences, what helps you learn and grow, you know,
yes.
if we don't fail, quote unquote, if we don't go through them, then we cannot, you know, see our potentials and where we can be and how to be and how to guide others.
Yes, and you know, we can have plenty of ideas of future podcasts, but when someone is correcting you when you're doing something that's not correct, you have to be open-minded to that correctness as well, and not take it to so negatively that someone's quote unquote trying to tell you what to do. We're just trying to keep everybody safe and everybody making conscience correct infection control decisions in the correct manner. So I think we're fairly close to our time.
May I add one last thing for your listeners, John?
Absolutely.
Come on, but I want to add one more thing, which is very important. I'm going to encourage the listeners and challenge them. We always encourage our teams, find yourself the right mentors. Listen to them, ask questions. Amanda and John, you are, and what you're putting together in the school you have is amazing. So yeah, these are the two individuals you want to listen to and follow, because they provide what you need to succeed in your position. So if it's not them, find yourself mentors that can guide you in the right direction so you can succeed in this career. It's not just a job, it's a career path that you choose to take on, and hopefully you'll be fulfilled with for the rest of your life.
Well, Eloise, I could probably tear up, to be honest. I'm a crier. Oh my gosh, it's such a proud moment. And we are proud. I hope you girls are proud as well of what you've created. John and I always say that we also would not be where we are if we did not lean onto those professional contacts that we've come in contact all those years, all those doctors that have helped us, the hygienist, all the dentists that we've worked for over the years, and you've kept that great professional contact that, you know, when you do decide to move on and when you need that professional help and guidance, to reach out to those individuals. So we are very grateful for our listeners and loving to listen to us and the knowledge that we bring in. And we're very glad that our paths have crossed as well with the four of us. So I'm sure we'll be collaborating many podcasts in the near future when our schedules allow.
And masterminds.
And
masterminds.
Yes. So many ideas. It's great to surround yourself with, have the same visions of you, or at least the same, the goal in mind to make the difference and to be that difference and to be a doer and to not be sitting in the shadows and letting someone else create those goals and those expectations for you. So we're very, very thankful. But we want our assistants to, what I always say at the end, of standing tall and standing out and being that difference and being confident in your education, being confident in what you've learned, and just continue to grow and continue to be a great asset to your dental practice.
Yeah, and you know, Ella, Tanya, we can't thank you enough from Converge Dental for joining us today. You know, I think someone mentioned something about some freebies, maybe. Do we know anything about that, ladies?
If you're going to go to our website, convergedental.com, and you click on contact, we give out free discovery sessions for 30 minutes for dental assistants or your practices or managers or whoever. If you have questions, if you need guidance, you can always call us and reach us so we can guide you in the right direction. We're here for you because our passion is to see you grow. Our passion is to make a difference. And this is the way that we give back to the community. So you have a free 30-minute session. If you choose to take it, we are here for you.
Great. And Amanda and I will probably jump right on that. So there's only a couple of those 30-minute sessions left. So, you know, for our listeners out there, make sure this is a limited time offer, I'm sure. So don't hesitate. And, you know, like we said, thank you so much, ladies. We will definitely be talking about another future episode, I'm sure. So for our listeners that love today's episode, make sure you don't forget to follow, subscribe to our page, Dental Assistant Nerds Podcast on Spotify, and also our YouTube channel, the Cornerstone Dental Assistant Academy. So thank you so much, and we'll catch you at the next podcast.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.